Welcome to XLC's new hire training. GMPs. Good Manufacturing Practices. What is GMP? A good manufacturing practice is a production and testing practice that helps to ensure a quality product. Therefore, complying with GMP is a mandatory aspect in pharmaceutical manufacturing. GMPs are enforced in the United States by the US FDA, under Section 501(b) of the 1938 Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act. The regulations use the phrase current good manufacturing practices to describe these guidelines. XLC's plant safety policy and basic expectations. Safety values. Nothing we do is worth getting hurt. HS&E can be managed. Every loss could and should have been prevented. Health, safety and environmental is everyone's responsibility. Unsafe workers will not be retained. XLC site rules. Electrical panels must be kept closed at all times with all fasteners properly secured. Pedestrians must follow plant signage. Pedestrians must make eye contact and verbal contact with drivers of motorized equipment. Pedestrians must yield to motorized equipment. An arm's length distance will be maintained between pedestrians and motorized equipment in use. You are responsible for following all OSHA standards that apply to you, for taking safety training seriously, and for reporting hazardous conditions. Know your rights and your responsibilities and use this knowledge to help make your workplace safe, healthy, and accident-free. XLC safety expectations. Employees are required to immediately report any accident, illness, or injury that occurs on the job or on the job site, no matter how slight. Any incidents should be reported immediately to the employee's direct supervisor whether medical treatment is required or not. Employees also must immediately report to a supervisor an unsafe situation, job, or equipment. Employees must immediately report to their direct supervisor when asked to perform a task that violates standard operation procedure or safety policies. No employee will be terminated or punished for reporting an accident, incident, illness, injury, or unsafe situation. Any violation to the described policy may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. Heed warning signs. Accident investigation and follow-up. Who was injured, involved, and who witnessed the incident? What happened, what job was being performed, and what equipment was being used? When did the injury take place? Where did the accident happen? Why did the circumstances cause injury to the person? And how can we prevent this from happening in the future? Evacuation for disaster. In the event of a fire, bomb threat, a slow audible intermittent alarm followed by voice instructions will be sounded over the public address system. Shut down equipment power, walk to the nearest exit. Do not run, unless otherwise instructed. Gather in the closest parking lot safe area as posted on the bidding evacuation map. At CP1, we meet at the guard station between the employee parking area and the truck lot. XLC managers and P&G managers will determine if any members of a group are missing. Missing persons are to be reported to your XLC contact at the site. Return to your work area only after the all clear signal is given. Indoor disaster plan. In the event of a tornado or other disaster that would require staying inside, will be sounded over the public address system. Shut down equipment power, walk. Do not run to tornado safe area, which is the men's bathroom in CP1. Fire prevention. Report a fire immediately by pulling the fire box and evacuating the building immediately. No open flames are to be used in any building without a completed and signed cutting/welding/hot work permit. Keep all sparking devices away from flammable/combustible materials such as paper, fuel oil, propane, alcohol, gas tanks and lines, as well as flammable chemicals and mixtures. All flammable liquids must be stored in NIOSH/NFPA-approved safety containers. For small, manageable fires, it is permissible to extinguish a fire with a portable fire extinguisher. The fire is spreading beyond the immediate area where it started, or it is already blazing. If the fire could block your escape route. If you are in doubt whether the extinguisher is proper for the fire. If you are unsure how to properly operate the extinguisher. Using portable fire extinguishers. Fight the fire if the fire is small and confined to the immediate area where it started. You can fight the fire with your back to a safe escape route. Your extinguisher is rated for the type of fire you are fighting, ampersand is in good working condition. You are trained to use the extinguisher and know you can operate it effectively. When using an extinguisher, make sure it is the safe thing to do. Locate the nearest one. Have a CO worker get a second extinguisher to use as a backup. And use the pass system. *pull *aim *squeeze *sweep. And always stand 6-8 feet from the flames. Personal protective equipment, also known as PPE, is equipment that creates a barrier against workplace hazards. PPE required at CP1 are goggles/safety glasses, gloves, steel toe shoes. Hand protection is a site requirement. PPE gloves are required in the following situations: equipment maintenance, changeovers, tool use, material handling, any task with potential to pinch, cut or bruise the hand. These general use gloves do not replace other glove requirements such as gloves for chemical handling, hot water, or cuts. Eye and face protection requirements. Safety glasses with permanently affixed, ANSI approved, side shields are required in all production areas, labs, mechanical shops, and whenever hammering, drilling, chipping, grinding or cutting, and in other areas as posted. PPE safety shoes. Steel-toe safety shoes/boots are required by all personnel that come to the site and are working in the production areas, which is another XLC site requirement. PPE hearing protection. Hearing protection is not required at CP1 due to the decibel levels within the building. XLC Services does not require all employees to have a lockout/tagout certifications. Those who will have locks will be trained. Work on the line in the Production 3 job. Work in Customization Center as equipment specialists and technicians. Must complete the lockout/tagout as required by OSHA, XLC, and client standards. Lockout is a technique used to prevent the release of hazardous energy, or to prevent the hazardous energy from escaping. A padlock is placed on the appropriate energy isolating device that is in the off or closed position. Lockout procedure. Alert the operators that power is being disconnected. Prepare for shutdown. Shut down equipment. Equipment isolation. Application of lockout devices. Control of stored energy. Equipment isolation verification. Never attempt lockout/tagout procedures unless you have been trained and certified by XLC Services under an approved energy control program. Confined space is defined as an enclosed or semi-enclosed space which has limited or restricted means of entry and exit, is not designed for continuous human occupancy and presence, or potentially presents serious hazards. Do not enter confined spaces unless you have received specific training and qualification to do so, and to follow all the correct procedures, including a properly signed confined space entry permit. If you are in doubt as to whether or not a task that you are doing involves a confined space, ask your XLC supervisor. Electrical safety. Electricity is one of the most common causes of fire in homes and workplaces. Explosions have also resulted from electrical sources. There may be instances that you may be exposed to electrical components in the workplace. An average of 1 worker is electrocuted on the job every day. There are 4 main types of electrical injuries: electrocution, electrical shock, burns, falls. Electric shock is received when a current passes through the body. Severity of the shock depends on path of the current through the body, amount of current flowing through the body, length of time the body is in the circuit. Low voltages can be extremely dangerous because, all other factors being equal, the degree of injury increases the longer the body is in contact with the circuit. Low voltage does not mean low hazard. Electrical equipment clearances. All electrical equipment has minimum spacing requirements that are mandated by OSHA and the National Electric Code. You cannot store or place equipment, materials or things near, in front or above electrical equipment. A minimum of 3-4 feet must be maintained in front of all electrical equipment at the site. This also includes wall space or head space above the electrical panels up to the ceiling or 6 feet above the equipment. OSCOM was issued by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration (OSHA) to help control chemical exposure on the job and requires the following. You have a right to know what chemicals you are working with or around. All chemicals in your workplace be fully evaluated for possible physical or health hazards. All information relating to these hazards must be made available to you. Material safety data sheets. A fact sheet for a chemical which poses a physical or health hazard in the workplace. Your company must have MSDS for each hazardous chemical it uses. The MSDS must be kept where you can use it during your work shift. Blank spaces are not permitted on the MSDS. If you find a blank space, contact your supervisor. Material safety data sheets must be in English and contain identity of the chemical, physical hazards, health hazards, primary routes of entry, whether it is a carcinogen, precautions for safe handling and use, emergency and first aid procedures, date of preparation of latest revision, name, address, and telephone number of manufacturer, importer, or other responsible party. If you are injured and blood is involved, contact ERT/supervisor for wound evaluation and bio-cleanup. Why make a big deal over a simple cut? If product gets to the customer with blood on it could be dangerous by end user and result in a public relations nightmare triggering a recall. Actions to contain if there is blood. Get medical attention to employee who is bleeding. Contact ERT/supervisor to clean up blood and dispose of materials containing blood.